Welcome back to Buzzwell's Hotel, where we're in conversation with a number of the candidates, most of them, in fact, for the NUI and Dublin University panels, 6 Senate seats in all available. Our next panel consists of Mark Coleman on the TCD panel, journalist and broadcaster and former ECB economist. We also have Tony Williams on the TCD panel, a law graduate, an advocate of political reform and a supporter of entrepreneurs. We've got David Martin, again on the Trinity panel, a teacher in Wicklow, originally from County Antrim, and standing on an education platform. We've Bart Connolly, who's standing on the Trinity panel. He describes himself as a male housewife and community activist. We've got Declan Keller on the NUI panel, former INTO president, and Mick Langan, standing on the NUI panel, a photographer who's been working in tourism for over 15 years. In the past, with a fairly modest remuneration, you couldn't just be in the Shannon. You had to have another job, but you also had to have an understanding employer who would allow you to attend.
It's been used as a waiting room, Pat. It's been used as a retirement home. It's been used as a way of just putting people in there and having some sort of political agenda.
That's not Mick Langan, who's running on the NUI panel.
And again, we've got this caricature, this cynicism that is, if we don't stop this cynicism about political involvement, our country's going to be in even further trouble. If you abolish the Shannon, you're going to have to...
David, hasn't Mick got a point that people, as soon as they lose their Dáil seat, in they go to the Shannon, they tour.
That's not a bad thing.
It is a bad thing. No, it's a chronically bad thing. You look at politicians who say, I'll go and take that job now because I got elected by my mates who are on the county council. I'm standing in the NUI. My name is Mick Langan. I'm standing on the NUI constituency because at least it's democratically, even if it is botched, elected by people, one man, one vote. The Shannon should be representative of the people. I believe we're in a republic and every citizen should have a vote. I reckon every Irish national, every Irish citizen with their experience abroad, the ones who are listening to us in Berlin, the ones who are listening to us in Boston and New York, they should have a vote and representation.
Okay, Mick, can I be devil's advocate here and say, you have a minister who does the right thing but the unpopular thing, right, to save this country. He, of course, gets dumped by the electorate the next time round. But there is, I'm being devil's advocate here, Mick. Hang on, let me finish my point. There is a more considered electorate who will say, well, that minister was a pretty good minister. No one likes higher taxes, but they had to do it, blah, blah, blah. So we will save his political skin in the Shannon so that he may be judged properly in 5 years' time.
People do very altruistic things. There's 27 people running for the NUI. Through my doorway came 21 letters. I didn't send my letter out. People can find what I stand on Mick Langan. Vote Langan 2011 on Facebook. I didn't send it out because each one of these costs 48 cents to the taxpayer. That's you and me. Let me do the figures. Each candidate has cost us 47,000 euros. That is 1 million that's gone into the recycling bin. I'm not standing for that waste. I'm standing on where I start from, and that is not actually wasting people's money.
Yeah. There is a difficulty, obviously, in a general election where not everyone has broadband, but most of the people...
That's a dinosaur of a previous age.
Most
you have your literature.
If you let me finish, Mick, most of the people who are allowed to vote in this, because they're graduates, most people have access to the internet. So it seems to me that the Shannon election could be a model for digital campaigning.
Yes,
absolutely.
I mean, there's no reason for that.
That's what I'm doing. I'm saving 47,000.
Tony Williams,
47,000.
Tony Williams has been listening
it's
to this.
2 teaching assistants in schools.
Okay, Tony Williams, law graduate, advocate of political reform, a supporter of entrepreneurs, whatever that may be. Tony, why are you running for the Shannon?
Well, there's 2 aspects to it, Pat. Firstly, there's the personal advantage that people get if they elect me as a particular individual to the Senate, and then there's a wider political point.
And will you be a part-time or a full-time senator?
When the Senate is in session, I'll be a full-time senator.
All right, Mick, you want to come back there?
Yeah, I want to come back in, and on one point, what I'm standing on is tourism. I have 15 years experience working with tourism. It is one of the only things we have in this country which the IMF and the EU can't take away. Our culture, our landscape, our people. There are small companies out in South Dublin that bring in 280 students. That's worth 10,000 per student. We actually have a business that's worth 3 billion a year right now for being ourselves, where people can live in Galway, in Donegal, in Kerry, and actually earn their living and not have to go away. And I'm standing and representing that because it's very important.
All right. Mark Coleman.
Well, I'm against the tax increases on frontline workers like teachers, which were increased to fund outrageous academic salaries of 120 grand a year. I wanted to defend the pay of frontline workers. The problem is that that some representatives of frontline workers,
the frontline workers I'm talking about, don't get 120,000 per year.
The trainee nurses are being forced to pay.
The Shannon cannot deal with money bills. So all this garbage people are talking about changing money bills is absolute garbage. That's all it is. I would encourage people to look at my site, Mick Langan for Shannon 2011.
We will have to leave this panel there. We'll take a break.